Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Auto Bravado channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the economy car of economy cars, the Honda Civic EX. Let's get into the review. The EX has been the most popular Civic sedan since the early 80s, and I can tell you because this car comes with a plethora of features considering the price. So, all the way back in 2017, this car was only $20,650. That might seem like a lot for an economy car, considering most economy cars that are budget go for under $20,000. But that's not the case here. This car has a plethora of features. The design, the style, even the quality is better than all else. Once you start paying attention to all the close-up details, the fine quality, even the hidden craftsmanship, you start to appreciate the economy car of economy cars. I strongly believe this because the Civic has been the best-selling car in California for almost 20 years. Just look at all the features you get on this car. It's really a marvel. Imagine 20, 30 years ago, a base Sentra did not even have power steering. I mean, this is where it's at. So, the Honda Civic was introduced to the United States market all the way back in 1972, and I can tell you it's come a long way since its 600cc air-cooled motorcycle engine that powered its tiny frame. How far we've come. So again, I just want to talk about the rear styling. I always love these door handles. It really creates an expensive effect on this car, especially considering the price point. I mean, if you really come down to it, you can understand why so many people like this car. Because when it comes down to it, and you need a car that's under $20,000, the finer details make it everything or nothing. This is why the Civic, the Corolla, all of these cars have been so successful. So I just want to talk about the design of this car, and what's really apparent to me is they've not overstyled it. I mean, look at the back. They've got flowing quarter panels that integrates itself with the taillight. You can really see how hard they were trying not to overstyle the back end of this car, and the same goes up front. I mean, they've really done such a great job doing this. I will admit though, on this specific Civic, the EX trim, it's an older EX trim, they've used a lot of crappy plastics on the outside, which, you know, for someone who wants, you know, something that looks nice for the price, you know, you might not want to get this. And just to do a little bit of sciencey talk here, so I can understand why they put smaller rims on this car, especially because the smaller the rim you have, the diameter or the radius, there's less unsprung mass that you have to rotate, therefore less power loss, you know, just everything like that. That's why they've tried to make this a super fuel efficient car. And I was of course talking about a plethora of features. So Honda has installed a lane watch camera in the right side mirror, which you just don't see in economy cars at this price range. What it does is you turn on the right turn signal, it activates the light where you can then see it in the center control screen, and you can see your blind spot without looking over your head. Of course, you will be looking over your head anyway because that's the law. And again, I just have to point out, everything on this car is so easy to use. I mean, light doors, a lockable fuel filler door. I mean, just everything on here is meant for ease of use. Get in, get out. Don't let it be hard. And just one more thing before we go inside the cabin. I love how they've integrated the antenna into a sort of shark fin on the top of the roof. It really adds to it a sleek look and everything like that. So just before we get into the car, I want to show you the key, and this is something I really like. These easy to see buttons, plastic, soft, smooth to the touch, lock, unlock, and as you can see and as you can hear, it's a lockable fuel filler door. So it's locked now, so we can't get in. So just really nice to see something like this. And as well, we have remote start, which is just really nice on a cold morning. And as of right now, it's 45 degrees. And as you can hear, that little 4-cylinder motor just purring away, ready to take you to work and back, to the grocery store, wherever you want to go, all the time, reliable. I just have another really cool thing to show you. So Honda has installed this safety feature. You unlock the car and then hold the unlock key for about 10 seconds and it automatically drops all of the windows as well as the standard sunroof. This is just a really cool safety feature you don't get to see on a lot of economy cars, especially in this price range today. Alright, so Now we're getting inside the interior of this Civic, and one thing I have to point out, these are obviously cloth seats. They are so comfortable. I mean, if you're buying an economy car, you want to get as much as you can, and this does just that, all while not breaking the bank. All right, so upon entrance, you'll notice there are obviously some crappy plastics. You know, the cloth is actually especially nice. You have some nice intertwined cloth stitching that's color matched in a light gray, so really nice to see that, as well as the steel-ish, it's obviously plastic, door card thing, as well as the color matched door handles. It's just really nice to see that they have gone for style, and the really important thing about this is they haven't lost any of the functionality. So I do want to talk about the steering wheel. It's kind of a really weird design. It's what I would call a golf ball design, the way it feels. It's really durable. I mean, you can take a washcloth to this, you get super glue on there, you can rub it off. You know, it's really durable. So they've really gone for a unmaterialistic layout, a really simple dash design. You have everything integrated into your screen with a few climate control buttons. You know, it's just really nice to see this, as well as down here you have a special brake hold feature that we will show you in a minute, your parking brake, which is electronic, as well as an economy mode. So just really nice to see that they've really packaged everything so properly and well. So again, I want to talk about the center console storage area, and I really like this because they've created they've gotten a lot of space out of such a small area. You have your cloth sliding center console with sliding trays here, as well as sliding cup holders, a charge port down here, as well as a giant cup holder for, say, a large drink, you know, as well as down here. Something else I just have to show you, Honda installs a water guard, and on the back of it, it shows really cool Honda graphics. They used to make planes, race cars, motorcycles. You know, this is just a really cool Easter egg you just don't see in a car like this. It really shows they really cared about this car. All right, so I just wanted to turn on the screen here, and something I've always really liked about this is that they have everything. It's digitized as well. You get huge amounts of information readouts. For example, fuel economy, you know, oil life, music, phone. You can even switch from miles per hour to kilometers per hour, say if you were driving across country to Canada or something like that, as well as the information icon, which tells you to do certain things, whether you're starting up the car or just anything like that. All right, so other than that, everything in here is really bare bones, but I mean, even in a cloth trimmed seat, I mean, these are really nice looking seats. I have to say, they're comfortably bolstered. You know, everything in here feels really nice. All right, so again, I want to talk about this little Easter egg here. It's a little cloth strip. So back in the 1960s, when Honda had released the N600, which is a sort of small hatchback for getting around town, they used this exact material to make all of the seats in that car out of, and it's just really nice to see that they've gone back and put this sort of racing stripe cloth material in here, going all the way back to when the N600 was released nearly 50 years ago. Again, I want to talk about the list of standard features you have in here. You have LED running lights, every single EX model up. You have automatic front windows, I mean, power mirrors, power everything in here. I mean, even touch sensitive buttons you don't even have to click. Obviously cruise control would be standard. I mean, everything. I mean, considering the price, you have to admit this is one of the nicer, lesser economy cars you can buy, and especially at this price point, and a lot of people don't use them, is the factory installed as standard sunroof. It's one click push open, and you're able to open it right away. It's just really cool that they've included that. And another thing I really like is this wind deflector. They used to not have these on the previous 9th generation Civic, but they finally added it. It shows they've really been paying attention to those finer details. You have grab handles all around. You have sun visors with lights in both of them, credit card holders on both sides, lights in the front and back. I mean, they've included so many features. Again, I wanted to tell you about that safety feature called Lane Watch that Honda has installed on the EX and up as of the 2017 model year. So you can either turn your right turn signal on and it will display it. However, if you don't want to turn right, you can turn off the stalk and press a Lane Watch button on the end of the stalk, and you can have it stationary here whether or not you have the turn signal on. Just a really cool safety feature that Honda pioneered a few years ago. I wanted to talk about the whole center console area. They've obviously integrated into the dashboard. You have an extra area down here for charge ports, cigarette lighter adapter, 12 volt, 180 watt max, as well as Apple CarPlay integration through cable. It's just really nice to see that they've included this, as well as a sort of cable organizer which you can connect to down here, so you know the functionality is there. All right, so getting in the back of this sedan, it's really apparent to me that there's quite a bit of room. You wouldn't think it. It is a slightly smaller wheelbase than the 9th generation, but I mean, other than that, I mean, you have tons of room. I will admit it is quite sparse back here, although you do have a fold down center console with integrated cup holders, which is really nice. You have coat hooks up here, obviously electronic windows, a little cubby here, as well as a slightly larger cubby here with an integrated drink pocket, as well as places for other items, as well as this, what you could call a seat pocket. I mean, what they've put in here is, it's really nice. I mean, you have a light, you have subwoofers in the back. I mean, they try to fit as much in here for the price. All right, so now we're under the hood of the Honda Civic EX, and we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder with 4 valves per cylinder, direct injection with variable valve timing, which is Honda's VTEC. So, really nice to see this. I mean, it is quite a large block. It's obviously aluminum head and aluminum block, but I mean, you can see everything here. It's quite amazing. So as far as performance goes, this is an economy car. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder. It's 158 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 138 foot-pounds at 4,200 RPM. So this is actually really healthy numbers, considering this is only a 2-liter engine. I mean, you're getting like over 70 horsepower per liter. So, really nice to see this. The EPA rates this Civic at 31 miles per gallon city, 40 miles per gallon highway for a combined of 34. And I have to tell you, the reason it's able to make such good numbers is the fact that it has a CVT transmission. Now you might be asking, what's a CVT transmission? I'll tell you. So it's a continuously variable transmission. What that means is it is a belt-driven transmission, not gear-driven, which decides to pick its own gear ratios depending on the position of the throttle. So if you're at half throttle, it'll sit at 3,500 RPM, or if you're at full throttle, it'll bounce between 5,500 and 6,000 RPM. So you might be asking, well, can it redline? It actually won't redline because it has computer-developed software to not let that happen. Well, we've taken an in-depth look at this 2017 Honda Civic EX, and now it's time to take it out on the road for a drive. All right, so getting in right now, obviously keyless entry we just used. All right, sitting in. Seatbelt on, obviously, push start, and starts right up. Right into gear, and we're off. All right, so we're pulling out here. So I want to talk about that CVT. So I have my foot at a specific throttle position. I'm not moving it or anything. So it's going to behave differently than the geared transmissions. The software, the characteristics, it adapts to your driving style, which is really amazing considering. All right, so just went around that corner right there, and I'll tell you, considering the tires it has on it, you wouldn't believe that it's able to handle this well. I mean, I mean, I can barely feel any body roll, which is really surprising. I mean, these are, you know, high profile tires for fuel economy, so it's really surprising that it's capable of doing that. All right, so I'm gonna give it some gas here. I'm just gonna punch it. That is much better than you'll find in a Sentra or anything of that matter. That's actually astonishing. So 158 horsepower and 132 foot-pounds. I mean, that's actually astonishing. We just got up to 60 there. It's not fast, but it's a fast economy car, so I'll give it that. All right, so just chugging along now. I mean, you can have your music playing, your heater on, or your air conditioning. I mean, everything in here is ready for you to use, and you know, I mean, it's just such a comfortable, usable economy car. And it has, I believe, a 9.9 gallon fuel tank. And what you'll notice, I have over 348 miles of range, which, I mean, you can go literally anywhere. So when you're setting off, you do actually hear quite a bit of transmission noise. That's the belts being driven on the pulleys. I believe it's actually an electronically driven transmission. So the input from your foot is given to the electronic throttle body, which is then given to the CVT's computer, which then tells it how much, you know, to change the gear ratio. So it's really interesting to see how they've integrated the motor and the transmission. Something that I really like seeing on cars like this, you have a physical shifter on here. You know, a lot of car manufacturers now are shying away using buttons, switches. I'm going to, I would say, drop it into low mode right now. Raises the revs. Some corners right now. I mean, I do notice a little bit of body roll in the back end, but considering this is a front wheel drive car, that tells me it has the ability to oversteer. So I think the weight distribution is actually more aft than front, which is absolutely surprising to me considering the size of the engine and the general way it's laid out. Well, it might not have much power or, you know, the engine you want or certain things, but then again, the person buying this car, they just need a car to get them from A to B, all the while having a few more amenities than most would have on any of their other cars. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like content like this, and I hope you like seeing it more soon. Anyways, see ya in the next video.